Before we even start this video, I want to make sure we don't get too technical. All wrongdoing is a sin, but yes, there are different variations or gravities of sin. To start off, we're going to start by looking at what is sin in itself. The Catechism of the Catholic Church points out and says, sin is an offense against reason, truth, and right conscience. It is failure in genuine love for God and neighbor, caused by a perverse attachment to certain goods. Catechism continues to say it wounds the nature of man and injures human solidarity. It has been defined as an utterance, a deed, or desire contrary to the eternal law. Now, the eternal law is not there so that God can say, you did this wrong, so I'm going to punish you for it. The eternal law, God's law, is there so it can help guide us to the eternal kingdom. It is a way for us to be able to hold ourselves accountable and realize what will help me get into the kingdom of heaven. Now, there are, yes, of course, different variations of sin. And even St. John points out that there are certain sins that would be considered mortal, and then there are other sins. And the Catholic Church categorizes them or calls them mortal sins and venial sins. So what characterizes a mortal sin? A mortal sin is a sin of a grave matter. It is something that is a grave violation to God and God's law and God's love for us. It is something that goes against that love that He has for us. He created us out of love, and He is with us because of love, and He came to save us because of love. So to categorize mortal sin, it is something that goes against that love that He has for us. But it has to meet three criteria for a sin to be considered mortal sin. The first is that it must be a grave matter. It has to be something that something against the Ten Commandments. It also has to be done with full knowledge that I knowingly am choosing this thing, knowing that this is inferior to God, but still choosing to do so. And number three, it has to be with my consent, deliberate consent, that I am consenting to this, knowing that it's a grave matter, knowing that what I'm about to do is wrong, and knowing that I'm doing it, but also consenting to it, that I am okay with this. I am okay with this inferior thing to God. In a way, mortal sin becomes this premeditated action. It is not something that just happens out of a whim. It is something that has gone through three different criteria before I have actually committed it. Now, there are venial sins. Venial sins would be in a way when we do something wrong, but we don't realize the gravity of them. We don't realize that or knowingly do that thing. And maybe we don't consent to it. And obviously, venial sin will still harm us, will still hurt us. And in the long run, venial sins that accumulate on our souls will lead us to committing mortal sins. We can get technical and we can say, well, oh, did I commit a mortal sin? Well, in reality, it's actually a venial sin. I sort of didn't know, or I sort of didn't give consent. We can get technical with that, but we must also, at the end of the day, realize that all wrongdoing is a sin. It is something, an action against God's love for us. So the beautiful thing, though, is God has given us something to clean that slate, clear that slate of all wrong, and be able to start anew, start fresh. And Christ instituted the sacrament of confession. The sacrament of confession is a sacrament where we can go to Christ and ask for forgiveness and be able to start fresh. And that is the beauty of the mercy that God shows us each and every single day. He gives us that opportunity. It is up to us to choose that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe and comment your questions for further videos. God bless you all. Hope to see you soon.